Happy week 18. We have a malnourished Bryce Martino, a
What's up?
grumpy
What's
Iestyn
up?
Harris.
Yo.
Nothing's actually wrong with me for once. So
Yeah, you
pretty
shaved,
cool.
so that's a plus.
I don't know. It's annoying.
Huh?
Anyways,
Is it-
all right. So today let's do something different. We talk about all the good teams all the time. We talk about the bad teams also all the time. Let's just today, for the next 35 whatever minutes, talk about teams that are wild card, fringe wild card, those guys. Okay?
All
Okay.
right.
Let's start AFC because that wild card picture is a little clearer in better teams. So let's start with the Colts. Why are they going to make it? I mean, like they have to beat Jacksonville, so like they are. But why are they going to make it? We should
It's in
like them in the
Jacksonville, right?
playoffs. Yeah,
Last time
and
they beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville was 2014.
Yeah, it's been a while for them. I think that they've got everything they need to do to win this game, but we've seen better teams lose to Jacksonville this year. We've seen worse teams beat better teams. We've seen essentially just a whole mess of carnage this season, and I think that no part of me is confident that the Colts are going to win this game. I mean, okay, that's not true. I am confident that they're going to win this game, but if it's a close game, I wouldn't trust the arm of Carson Wentz to win it for them.
No, they've proven they can win games just strictly running the ball and putting it in
Yeah,
Naheem Hines and Jonathan Taylor's hands.
yeah, yeah. They're not, but
So
they're
I'm
not winning
not
games because of Carson Wentz. They're winning games in spite of him.
right.
So, he's a major concern for me. I think that they're probably one of the scariest wildcard teams in the playoffs right now, outside of Arizona. But Arizona aren't even really a wildcard team, are they? At 11-5?
I mean, not really.
No, they're a class
They're
above
like
all the
the
wildcard
best
teams.
wild card team.
Yeah. I would say that the Colts are probably the scariest to me. Just because they're perfectly capable of winning without a quarterback, and I don't think there are any other teams in the playoffs right now that would be this good and this scary without their quarterback.
yeah,
Yeah, probably
it's like
not.
them in Philly. If like the quarterback plays good too, it's like, oh, cool. We're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, we didn't need the quarterback to win games, but now that he's here and he's playing well, I mean, yeah, a good game from Carson Wentz makes the Colts a powerhouse, and he can
But
have
how
good
often
games.
can you get that though?
Yeah, I mean, you're not
He
expecting
hasn't
it
shown a lot of
consistently.
it.
But if he shows up on any playoff game, then they could be any of the other teams in the AFC. Hell, they have beaten half these other playoff teams.
Yeah.
All right, the LA Chargers. Okay, before I go, say that doomsday situation plays out, the Colts lose in Jacksonville. I
Mm-hmm.
love the scenario of LA and Las Vegas tying. I would really want that to happen. Have
I
the
mean,
game
yeah.
really 3-3.
Both teams could just take 15 kneels and make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Plus that game's Sunday Night Football for all the marbles, right? It's trumped up to be such a big deal. It's the game to watch this weekend with all of this on the line, and just imagine if that's the show we get is 30 straight kneel downs to run the clock from
Yeah, but
each
wouldn't that be
side.
such a fitting end to this year, though?
It
All
would
this
be.
offense and, SoFi this, SoFi that, the Chargers, crowning them the Super Bowl champions in week 5, and then just see Herbert minus 30 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be really. You're correct. It would be extremely funny.
It would make for memes for the whole off season.
Oh yeah, that would be everyone would. We were talking about 20 years from now. Oh, remember that time where the Chargers and Raiders just kneeled for an entire game because they
And
knew that
both
if
make
they
the
did, they could
playoffs.
both make the playoffs. I mean, imagine one of them goes further. Imagine one of them makes it to the AFC Championship. Imagine one of them goes to the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah,
How
it'd
do
essentially be
how do
another
you
bye week.
how do you it pretty much is. How do you justify that?
All right, so why do the Chargers make it And if they don't make it because they lose Sunday, why do they lose?
All right. I would say they make it because of the arm of Justin Herbert, but they lose it because of the arm of Justin Herbert.
That's
I think
fair.
I think Herbert is probably one of the most talented passers in the league right now, but he's still inconsistent. I understand that's going to change as he grows into his role as a veteran.
But right
But
now, it's a lot of inconsistency from his game.
yeah, I mean, there's a reason he wasn't number one in 2020. There's a reason that Joe Burrow was the guy, and it's because Joe Burrow was supposed to be the closest to ready to win right now in the NFL with all of these weapons in his arsenal. Herbert was going to take a little more work, not much, but a little bit, and you can see that he's made those rookie mistakes, he's had those growing pains, and he has grown through them. But it's just there's still too much growing for him to do. Obviously, he needs a little help. Their secondary is weak. But I just don't see them losing a shootout if it becomes a shootout with the Raiders.
Now, I got to go with Justin Herbert. They're going to win because of him, but if they lose, it'll be on the hands of defense.
Yeah.
Because we've all seen a lot of poor play from the Chargers defense as of late.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to say they put up a good game versus Derek Carr and the Raiders, but I just can't confidently say that. Because we've all seen Derek Carr have these fluky 300-yard, 2 TD passing games.
Yeah.
And Chargers defense would be the defense to do it on.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But when Justin Herbert is on it, he's thrown like 350, 3 touchdowns. They're winning because of him and solely him.
All right, I think that's reasonable. I think that their defense is the weak point of the team, but yeah, Justin Herbert can outscore the Raiders if the defense collapses. I would probably take the Chargers to win this.
Their Sunday night counterpart, Las Vegas Raiders. Now they need a little bit of help, I feel like. They need just Justin Herbert to not be there. So what do they need to get into the playoffs?
Well, they got Darren Waller back, right?
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, if Darren Waller comes back, then that's a huge boost for their offense. I mean, he's a quality blocker. He really does help spring that run game when he's in there, and he's a versatile pass catcher. I mean, there's a reason he's considered a top 3, top 5 tight end, and it's because he earns that. I think that if he gets if they can get him back and he is healthy, then there's very little reason why they can't break things open on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, the Raiders are dealing with yet another off-the-field issue this week. I don't understand how. I think that they should be proud of how far they've come, considering all the adversity they've faced this year.
Could you imagine if they make it to Super Bowl with an interim head coach, though?
Has that ever been done before?
I don't think so. But yeah, I got to go with the connection of Derek Carr and Darren Waller is going to win them this game. Now, if they lose, it'll be because of the secondary matching up with Jared Cook if he comes back, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Jalen Guyton, all of them. I don't think with this depleted secondary, I don't think they have the firepower to stop them.
Yeah, that checks out.
I really want Las Vegas to make it, but I'd rather the Chargers.
That'd be a cool story.
Yeah,
Very
it'd
cool
be great.
with everyone they've lost.
But I mean, like, it's not gonna happen unless that tie situation plays out. And for
awesome.
some reason, I said it 6 weeks ago. That stupid tie the Steelers got against Detroit somehow gives Big Ben another week. So what's the situation? If the Colts lose, then they can sneak in if they win?
If the Colts lose and Pittsburgh wins, and the Chargers and Raiders don't tie. If the Chargers and Raiders tie, then there's no way Pittsburgh can get in. Essentially, if the Colts lose, then they are more or less. I mean, it's unlikely that they can keep their spot. The Steelers are playing the Bengals, I believe, in the last week of the season.
Oh, so I mean, they're not really going to win.
Oh no, they have the Ravens. The Ravens, my mistake.
Yeah,
So there is
The depleted Ravens.
Yeah, the depleted Ravens, who are still also on the edge of the playoff race. They're still in this somehow.
So they have.
It's a very fun playoff race in AFC.
So they have the
It
same.
really has been, hasn't it?
If they win and Indianapolis loses and no tie, they're in.
They need to win. They need Pittsburgh to lose, and they need the Colts to lose, and also the Chargers and Raiders not to tie. Yeah.
Well, I didn't actually know about that scenario, but Baltimore, sorry, dude, it's not going to happen.
They've got, I think, a 0.5% chance of making the playoffs.
Pittsburgh, though, let's just say somehow Big Ben pulls another one out. Thanks to that tie, any threat of them in the playoffs if they make it?
No,
not at all.
No.
With the arm of Ben Roethlisberger, what we saw last night, I mean, it was a great thing for him to walk off the field like that, but still, you're not going to win many playoff games with Ben playing like that.
No, I mean, he was a better quarterback in that game, but that really tells you nothing because that was one of the worst displays by both quarterbacks I've seen in a while.
They won because of Najee Harris.
They won because of Najee Harris and TJ Watt.
Yeah. 4 sacks from him.
The Browns were awful offensively, but credit that in part to the Steelers defense.
I still can't believe they one-on-one James Hudson against TJ Watt.
And kept it that way and then when they did bring Wyatt Teller out to help assist him, he just got in the way.
Yeah.
They made it worse for themselves. It was amazing. But
they had 9 total sacks last night.
That's horrifying. 4 for 1, right?
Yeah.
And now he's like 1 sack shy of Stroud's record.
Yeah, for what, single season sacks?
Yeah, I think it's 22.5 and he's at 21.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see him. He could easily get it against the Ravens. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's also, they still have a faint chance in the playoffs, so you've got to go all in until you're out. But if Pittsburgh does make the postseason, look at who they'd be playing. Right, they can only make it as the 7th seed. That's the only way they qualify. So they would be playing the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Bills, or the Patriots. Those are the only possible guys who could be in the 2 seed right now. Actually, no, the Titans, Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, Pats. They could play any one of those teams.
Basically, anyone in the playoffs right now.
Yeah. I don't see them winning against any of those teams.
No, not at all.
I mean, I think that they could. There are a lot of capable playoff teams they could be beating, but those 5 aren't any of them.
If it was last year's Steelers, then you might give them an outside shot to beat one of the teams, but it's not happening this year.
No.
Too many injuries. Big Ben's done.
Yeah. It's
offensive line isn't that great this year.
No, they've got too many issues, and none of them can be fixed by a change in the scheme for gameplay. A particularly good game plan isn't enough to bring them over the top.
Let's switch gears to the NFC now. You guys said it before. Arizona, bona fide wildcard team. They were the best team in the NFL for a good part of the season.
Yeah, 4 weeks ago, they were 10-2. They've been 1-3 since then.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Talk about a team that could use Antonio Brown.
I don't know if any team could use Antonio Brown right
now. If any team
Detroit.
It's gonna be Dallas.
I mean, yeah,
just keep up with
Gallup.
the names.
Oh, what the whole? Yeah, okay. Dallas do have a reputation. That's actually, I wouldn't really be that surprised if they did it. No. Jerry Jones would give him like $25 million. Just to completely screw over Dak.
Right.
All right. So Arizona, I mean, they get to play who do we think? Maybe Dallas again? Dallas
yeah.
again?
I don't see the Cowboys leapfrogging the Rams or Buccaneers. I don't see the Rams losing their second seed to the Cardinals. They'd have to drop the division, which is unlikely. In fact, I don't know if it's possible. Can the Rams lose the division right now? Have they clinched it?
So the Rams have to win or tie, or Arizona needs to lose or tie. Cardinals can still be the NFC West champions if they win and LA loses.
Okay. All right. So,
I mean, the Rams play San Francisco and the Cardinals play Seattle. Both teams have to, actually play Week 18.
Yeah, they don't get to send in the backups and just cruise to victory in this one. Admittedly, they both have a playoff berth, and if that was the only thing that mattered, then they would. But the Cardinals, going up against Seattle just proved to us that the offense can still do what the offense does. And this Cardinals secondary is its weak point on defense. I wouldn't be surprised to see Russell Wilson moonballing them all day. He's going to have, I think he has Lockett out there still. I know he's going to have Metcalf. I would be shocked to see them hold Wilson to below 20, 25 points. So we're going to need to see this Cardinals offense come to life. If not, because if they don't, then they're going to be visiting Dallas, and Dallas are, they're a great team. I know that Arizona just beat them head to head, but
they played them well though.
They did. It was a close game, came down to the wire, and that kind of game could be decided by a coin toss next time.
Philadelphia Eagles, like I said, Jalen Hurts, if he plays good, that's just an added bonus. Also, Jalen Hurts, great guy.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Jalen Hurts. Admittedly, I don't think he's the most talented guy out there.
No, he's
but not. I think that he's got a lot of quality traits that he can refine. He reminds me a little bit of what a lot of people thought Kyler Murray was going to be.
Yeah, just like
he reminds me of everything scouts thought Lamar would be.
Yeah, and I think
not being able to pass very well, could run a lot, and that's pretty much what he's doing right now.
Mm-hmm. But Lamar has shown moments of being an elite passer. Admittedly, he can't do it consistently, and there's tons of issues there. But Lamar's shown that he can do it. We've seen a little bit of that from Hurts. Not much.
Not enough where everyone's going to crown him yet.
Yeah, the game plan isn't geared to have him making tough throws over the middle or hitting guys 45 yards down the sideline.
They don't have the receivers for Hurts either.
No. And I do think that
Smith, and that's it. Yeah,
they have a lot of similar issues on their roster to the Ravens. Right. I mean, these two teams are comparable in a lot more ways than they originally looked. And right now, the Eagles look like the better team overall. And I think that if you put Lamar on this Eagles team, the Eagles would be doing better. If you put Hurts on that Ravens team, they'd be doing a little worse. But
and I think they're more comparable than everyone thought they'd be, because Ravens are dealing with 22 starters on IR, or 22 players. Yeah,
they are. And it's I've got so much sympathy for the Ravens in that whole scenario, but we don't have to worry about that with the Eagles right now. They've proven to us that they can win without elite QB play, but
they have 12 starters on the COVID list right now.
Who, the Eagles?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got hit bad. But
what's good about it is they knew that they had nothing to gain if they won.
Mm-hmm.
So you can basically take this as a bye week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is sort of a rest period for them. Admittedly, the difference between the 6th and the 7th seed could be the difference between playing a short-handed Buccaneers team that you could contain offensively,
kind of came at the perfect
or visiting the Rams
for Philly too.
Yeah, it did.
Because if it happened next week, then it would be a disaster for them.
Company, I would much rather play Tampa Bay than Los Angeles right now.
I agree, actually. I think Tampa Bay might be the better team from week to week, but I mean, they've got flaws that have been exposed several times this season.
Yeah,
they've put enough negative film on tape to show you how to beat them.
The blueprint on how to beat Tampa is out there and has been modified pretty much weekly.
Yeah,
they somehow almost beat them too.
They changed it.
Yeah. the Jets did it in a way that the Eagles wouldn't have to. Zach Wilson did what he's supposed to have been doing all season, and they very little ran the ball. The Eagles would be the total opposite. They can just run the ball, destroy the clock, and then if Jalen can make a couple throws here and there, they can beat Tampa. Of course, Tampa has another game like that, but I mean that's 2 out of 3 weeks. Tampa's not looked great on offense, and without Antonio Brown, it's not like they're going to get better. Chris Godwin isn't going to magically get a new MCL or PCL, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
And now they're going with an injured Mike Evans, then Rashad Perryman and Tyler Johnson at receiver. Yeah, you can beat this team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that receiving core it's still better than a lot of receiving cores in the NFL, but they're not that unstoppable trio that we were all fearing for most of the year.
And Fournette's still injured too.
Yeah, and if he's not 100%, even if he's playing, if he's not 100% in the playoffs, then significantly easy to contain, and Philly has.
Then they're going with Ronald Jones and Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, and no one is afraid of Lev Bell right now.
No, not at all.
No,
it's true. Not even Jake Paul.
He almost went into boxing before Tampa signed him too.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how you know you're washed up as an athlete now, as you go fight a poor brother.
Yeah, I mean, they bring in money. And
you see, Jake Paul said he could play free safety in the NFL.
Yeah.
And Jake Paul says a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say that I was wrong about the 49ers because, they're in the playoff picture right now. But they're not good.
They're just barely in it.
They're not going to okay, would you rather have the Eagles or the 49ers as a wild card team to pick them to win?
I would pick the Eagles to win, yeah.
You can have Jimmy or Trey. Quarterback isn't an issue. Would you?
Well, I mean, Trey looked as good as Jimmy did last week.
Yeah, exactly. And people I was talking to yesterday, they were like, "Oh, well, Jimmy was hurt." Whichever quarterback is playing, I don't care. I would rather have the Eagles than the 49ers.
Yeah. I mean, the 49ers have quality across the board, but they can't seem to adjust their game plan for their opposition each week.
Going back, before the season started, the Niners looked like they were probably one of the best teams in the NFC. They had almost no holes on either side of football. Then I think quarterback play and injuries just killed them this season. Inconsistent play from Jimmy, he's been hurt. Kittle and Debo have been hurt. So, and they're starting Josh Norman at corner, which isn't helping them either.
So the 49ers have to win, and they're in. If they lose and New Orleans loses to Atlanta, they're still in. If you're a Saints fan, as Andrew Tolva, who I don't know where he is, hope he's okay, and Garrett will tell you, they don't know how this team is even in consideration on their third starting quarterback. Well, actually, is Book going to start again, or is it going to be?
I think it's Taysom.
Yeah, so they've started 4 quarterbacks this year, and now they're on Ian Book again, part 2. And they still might make the playoffs.
Yeah. They still could. I mean, they did enough against Carolina. Admittedly,
that's a sad conference if the Saints make the playoffs.
I mean, right now, it's Tuesday night. I think the Saints are going to be a playoff team.
Well, yeah, I mean, San Fran have to beat the Rams to stay in.
Yeah. I
pick the Saints to make it over both those two teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Saints only
which
have
is
to take
sad
out the
to
Falcons.
see too.
It is. I mean, I think that the Saints, if Jameis Winston doesn't get hurt,
then they're definitely making the playoffs 100%.
I mean, I've got them already clinched by this point. I mean, let's say it's a difference of one game.
They were 3-1 with Jameis.
They were doing
4-1, something like that.
I think they were 5-2 when he got hurt. He got hurt
Still,
early,
that's
but it was
really
mid-season.
good.
Yeah, and even let's just say that it was he's the difference between 1 or 2 games because they've had some extremely close games that they've been on the wrong end of. Let's just say that he was the difference between 1 or 2 games. They've already clinched the spot. The 49ers are already eliminated. The NFC has nothing to play for in outside of a battle of seeding in week 18. There shouldn't be any intrigue here. It's a shame that the Saints have been so battered by injuries all year, but they overcame every injury except one. That's the quarterback spot.
I mean, they have no
Well, that's
depth receiver too. If you look at who these 4 quarterbacks have thrown to, it's Kenny Stills, Traquan Smith, Marquez Callaway. I mean, Juwan
Taysom
Johnson's
Hill
even
probably a
played
time or
some
two.
at tight end. Yeah. It's not very good weapons. They haven't done a good job at all bolstering up the receivers.
No. It's a shame because this team is talented and entertaining enough to win a lot of games, but they just can't fix it. No, not this season.
And a lot of that has to do with them being negative $100 million in cap space last offseason.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they crawled out of that hole to even play a season is remarkable.
And being contention for the playoffs too.
Now let's just play devil's advocate here for a second, fellas.
Yeah.
New Orleans sneaks in. They they sneak in, right? Tampa Bay gets the 2 seed. Am I onto something? Or is that just...
Tampa's still beating. Tampa's still winning.
The problem is, I mean, I think Tampa does win, absolutely. The Saints have proven that they know how to lock down that offense, but, you can't do it so many times in a Saints.
I'm not saying it's going to be 9-0 again.
Yeah, I would say probably more like 15
if they can
12.
hold them under 20, and whoever they throw back there, Bobby Boucher, Ian Book, Taysom Hill, if New Orleans can somehow muster up 20-plus points and hold Tampa to 20, I don't know.
I mean, I could see it. I could. We've seen enough from the Saints so far this season. They're disciplined enough defensively that they could make it work. My issue is, in order for them to make the playoffs, they need the 49ers to lose to the Rams. If the Rams lose, if the Rams win, in order for New Orleans to get in over the 49ers, then the Rams are the 2nd seed. There's no room for movement. And that's who they would be going to visit.
And the Rams are going to demolish them.
And the Rams are going to dismantle New Orleans.
Yeah, there's no other way to put it. There's no nice way to put it.
I mean, if there's a way for them to go toe-to-toe with the Buccaneers, I would absolutely want to see it. But
my problem is with the Saints beating the Buccaneers, hypothetically, like Steven said, they need to put up 20 points, and this offense just can't do it. With Taysom Hill at quarterback, with whoever at quarterback outside of Jameis, they haven't been able to do it often this year. Yeah. And with too many injuries on the O-line, at receiver, wherever, they don't have the players to do it.
Yeah, here's their last few games. They beat the Panthers 18-10. They lost to the Dolphins 20-3. They beat the Buccaneers 9-0. They beat the Jets 30-9. They lost to the Cowboys 17-27. They lost to the Bills 6-31. Yeah, they have one game in the past month and a half where they put up more than 18 points, and that was against the Jets.
How much did they put up there?
30-9.
Yeah, and you're doing it against the Jets. I'm not going to crown you for that.
Just because the Jets secondary is so decimated this year as well. Yeah. And also it was largely because of outside runs. Taysom Hill only threw for 175. Alvin Kamara had 120. Taysom Hill ran for 73. That's
like if the only team you're putting up over 20 points against is the Jets, I'm not gonna sit here and say you can do the same thing to the Buccaneers or even the Rams, whoever they play in the playoffs.
Yeah, but just because that Jets secondary is It's been a
So
problem
depleted.
for them this year.
Yeah.
And, really the Buccaneers secondary isn't much better right now. But they still have extremely disciplined pass rush and set of linebackers who can really cause
Especially if they
long-term
can get
problems.
Levante David back in time
Yeah.
for the postseason.
Yeah, the Buccaneers do just pose too much of a threat. And really, I think the rest of the NFL was can consider themselves lucky that the Buccaneers managed to, in the span of I think one game, they lost like 4 or 5 major players to injuries.
Yeah, Godwin, Levante David,
Mike
Fournette.
Evans got hurt as well.
I mean, he's still playing, but he's not playing at 100%.
No.
I'm just giving it a quick look-see. So let's say Philadelphia loses, right? They're 9-8, and then the Saints would be 9-8. Who would have that tiebreaker?
The Eagles already have clinched their spot.
Yeah, they're in.
No, I know
I
their
think
spot,
that-
but their seed.
I think that the Eagles would be the 7th seed and the Saints would take the 6th seed, which would put them toe to toe with the Buccaneers. Yes, you are correct. And that I would very much want to see, because honestly, it's intriguing enough because they've proven that even as depleted as they are, they can beat the Buccaneers and they can beat them twice. They took Taysom Hill. Did they even have Kamara when they beat them 9-0?
I'm not sure they did. If they did, it wasn't a healthy Kamara.
No. They did, but he had 11 carries for 18 yards. He averaged 1.6 yards a carry, and they still beat the Buccaneers 9-0. That was the Marquez Callaway breakout game. 6 catches, 112 yards, 18.7.
I don't know what it is about the Saints, but the Buccaneers just have never been able to beat them.
Sean Payton just understands that offense a little too well. So yeah, you know what? I could see the Saints beating them. I could see it. In one game in the playoffs, one game, all they have to do is win one game. They could win that game.
They have the secondary to lock down Mike Evans and these practice squad receivers.
Yeah.
But okay. I don't think they have the offense to go toe-to-toe with them still.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it would take an incredible game from the defense to give them a chance. It's like the
2019 Bills. I don't want to mention Bills a lot on here, but it's like them.
It is. They've got this erratic, inconsistent offense, which has shown to have a few splash plays in it. But this lockdown secondary,
dominant force of defense.
Yeah, it's crazy how good they are sometimes. But I would say that, yeah, it's an intriguing prospect. Let's get the Saints in the playoffs and see them visit the Buccaneers, because they've already proven that they can do it twice. But we just don't want a repeat of last season where they do it twice in the regular season. They show up, they embarrass the Buccaneers. Brady's on the sidelines having a meltdown, and then, they meet in the playoffs and he just blows them out and carries on his way as if nothing happened.
Getting a warning from the NFL to stop throwing devices.
Hmm? Did he?
Yeah, he got a warning from the league.
Well, yeah, it's not a good look for them, and also they have to pay for that.
Yeah.
Just fine.
What is that, $1,000 or more?
Yeah. Just fine him. I mean, really, come on. He's Brady. He's got enough money. You can just fine him. Admittedly, he'll have a meltdown about it and hold out. And then, like a year after the offense, they're going to suspend him 4 games for refusing to comply. But, that can be his problem.
That's why they drafted Kyle Trask.
Ooh, the legend.
Yeah, Florida legend.
All right, this time Sunday night. Who are we talking about as the 1 seed in the AFC?
It's the Chiefs. Not the Chiefs, the Titans. Sorry.
Yeah, I gotta go Titans. They've just shown too much lately where like the Titans and Patriots the Chiefs and Patriots, haven't shown enough power on offense to get it done.
And, that they're going to know what their seed is, I believe, by the time Saturday is over, because the Chiefs play Saturday at 4:30.
Yeah.
And either the Chiefs fall to the Broncos because they don't care about seeding very much and they just take it easy, And then the Titans can just rest their players because they've got the number 1 seed locked up. Or
that bye week would be huge for a lot of these teams, though, especially Titans.
Yeah, there are I think only 3 teams capable of a bye week right now. I think it's the Titans, Chiefs, and Bengals. And I think the scariest team with that bye week is probably the Titans, just because that's one more week for them to get healthy.
For
Derrick Henry
is
returning to practice tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
yeah. And a full week after this game coming up this weekend to ramp him up to speed without having to worry about.
If they can sit him this week and next week,
that's
going to be deadly.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that this time without Derrick Henry has been better for the offense. I think that it's forced them to diversify a bit, kind of like when you took Megatron away from Stafford. He improved overall as an individual passer.
Right.
Yeah.
Your Buffalo Bills wearing division winner caps on Sunday night?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
We got to beat the Jets. The Pats have to we have to lose to the Jets. The Pats have to beat the Finns. We got that one.
I predicted 35-18 Bills.
Go Bills, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we scored, 40 on them last time? So
the
numbers are relevant. About the same again.
Okay. I see we're taking shots in the last 10 seconds. Everyone stay safe. We'll be back Sunday night. Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Thanks. We're out.